Hello again, and welcome to another episode of Budget Buggies. This episode, I'm actually going to show you guys how to level up your Virtual Pro as a striker. And the reason I prefer striker as the first position that you put your player in on your Virtual Pro is that you essentially don't have to run the entire length of the field multiple times as you would as a midfielder or a defender. And this is important because when you first start out, your Virtual Pro has really bad stats in general. And so, as a forward, what I would recommend is you kind of make your player a little bit taller, about 6'0", 6'1" or so you can actually get to headers, and also that puts your strength up a little bit. And what this helps you do is retain possession of the ball when you're very close to defenders. Now, this is important because the method I'm going to show you on how to score goals relies on your player not being a pushover and being able to sort of kind of muscle his way into the box a little bit. You're not going to be, a 99 strength tank, but you want to have somewhere in the 80s range or so of strength just to be able to do that. And also, you want to have a finesse shot trait if you've already unlocked it. If you haven't, that's okay, but having it will make getting goals easier the way I show it. And of course, I'm also going to do all of this in world class mode or world class difficulty, because that's where you get to unlock most of the other Virtual Pro achievements. You also want to maybe get a power free kick if you have it. The outside foot shot is good in some respects, but I'm not really a huge fan, and it's not really the path I use. But actually here we're going to just jump into an existing career mode that have had going. It's a Manchester City career mode, and essentially what I would recommend for your first team on your Virtual Pro also is to pick a well-funded team to be player manager for. And the reason you want to do player manager is so you can play your player in every game, whether he's tired or not. Whereas if you just did player mode, you'll probably get benched for half the games because you either aren't good enough or you're too tired to take on every game. And with judicious management of your stamina, you can pretty much do every game unless you're at like zero stamina at the end of or at the start of the game. Here I'm kind of going through my record as a manager. You'll see that my first season wasn't that good, and by the time I come to my, I think, third season, I won. I've completed the treble. This is all on world class, and you'll see that my record improves each season. And this is the current season I'm in. Not really a stellar start to the season, one loss and two draws, but it's all right. I think I can do much better over the rest of the season. And here is my Virtual Pro. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit of goals. And when I first started out, I was actually a goalkeeper, just because I wanted to level up my goalkeeper stats. And what that entails is just having a goalkeeper and then playing with the rest of the squad. That way your Virtual Pro goalkeeper is actually controlled by the CPU, and it makes saves for you and gets your stats up. It's not really something I'd recommend. I changed to striker halfway through because it was boring to play with someone who's not your Virtual Pro, which is why I really play career mode with my Virtual Pro in the first place, is to feel like I'm part of the team. And as you can see also, as the seasons go on, I get better and better, and that's not only because I got better at playing FIFA while I was doing this, but also because the stats on my player get better. And so there are some shots that wouldn't go in at all as starting out as a 70 striker, but as an 85 striker, I have the curve, I have the stamina, I have the precision and the traits to be able to make those shots that I didn't or I wasn't able to earlier. Um, so that's really important to know is you get better as you play in world class, but also your player gets better, and that just makes you better as a side effect. Here is my squad, my Manchester City squad. You'll see I bought Ronaldo for a lot of money, and I think he's worth every penny, really. Some of the other players are still there. I haven't traded away Tevez yet. Still a pretty good player. I got Rooney, Neuer, and Ibrahimovic this season. Rooney has been fantastic. He's a machine. He tracks everywhere. I'll show you where I put him in the squad, and some of you might say, that's a waste for Rooney, but for me, he's really playing in the ideal position where I put him. As you can see, I had a bunch of other players that I sold. I sold David Silva this season. He was really good. He was 90, I think I got him up to. But I just wanted somebody more, a little bit stronger. Because in FIFA 12, really, technical skill counts for some. But what really counts is if you have height and power and pace. And pace is not as important when you're not controlling the players. So you'll see here that I'm actually right back because I was trying to level up my tackling stats as a defender, but for the purpose of this video, I actually made my player back into a striker so I could show you guys how to get yourself into nice positions to score goals and eventually level up your player and also have fun, because that's really what it's all about. I have Adebayor in the squad. I really like him. Just in real life, that's why I got him, and or I guess I canceled his loan. But I really like him in real life. That's kind of why I have him there. He's lower rated than some of the others, but his finishing is surprisingly good. Here I think I'm monkeying around with the squad. You'll see here that I have Wayne Rooney as a defensive midfielder. And this is probably what's shocking to most people, but his work rates are high, I believe, by default. So if you put him at striker, he will inevitably end up somewhere in the defensive third. That's just how he plays, how his character stats are set up. And so after a game or two of him doing that, I said, you know what, you're really good and you run all the time. So why don't I just put you at RDM? And he comes forward too. So him in that role really, he really excels in that role for me. And I don't know if I show anywhere, but all this is all world class. I wanted to stress that because if you're not playing world class, then your pro doesn't level up a lot or doesn't level up some of the more interesting achievements, which only activate on world class as a minimum. I wouldn't play legendary at all. I tried it for a couple of games and it was just obnoxious to play with, and it was not fun. Some people like the added challenge, but I'm okay with it. And here you can see I just kind of changed the squad around. We're playing West Bromwich Albion. And you'll see I'm up front with Ronaldo, Ibrahimovic in behind. That's probably not the best, but I just bought him, and so I wanna play him for a few games. He's been okay for me. He hasn't really blown the doors off like Rooney did, and actually Joe Hart has been playing so well that I've actually kept him in the team and have played him, ahead of Neuer, who's actually a better goalkeeper. You'll see the start to the season hasn't really been good for me. I'm in the bottom half of the table, but hopefully they'll improve. And essentially this is how I start out most games. It just kind of passed around a little bit. And you'll see where I'm taking up a position is right in front of that central defender. And I got tackled there, but that's generally where you want to be, is just, in front of the defender, but with enough space for you to turn and take a shot. So the whole the strategy of turning and taking a shot is very important. That is the best way to get goals, because on world class you get closed down very, very quickly as soon as you get possession. You'll see I just get swarmed as soon as I get the ball. And the maneuver I did there where I missed, but that's essentially what will get you a lot of goals, is you just turn and finesse it into the opposing corner. You'll notice that I set myself up as a left-footed player, but generally being right-footed works best for me. And here again, this is another situation you'll find yourself in, and that also didn't work out. But when you see one of your strikers making a run past the box, you want to kind of go up into the little corner area of the box, the 18-yard box, so you can get a back pass. And generally defenders will either cover down low where the CPU striker took it, or they'll be in the center. They generally won't hang around on the corner of the box, so you'll get some space to pull off a finesse shot. And there you see again, I probably should have scored there, but I guess it's just wasn't happening. And also I believe I was on my weaker foot. I was on my right foot. That's the other thing to know, is finesse shots on your weaker foot won't be as good. Even if you have 5-star weak foot, it'll be pretty good, but it won't be the same as being on your strong foot. You'll see them that the CPU likes to play out in there, and then I actually demand a pass, otherwise they'll never pass to me. That's the other thing you need to do is, and see, that actually worked that time. You need to demand the ball, but only do it when the CPU is in a safe place to give you the ball. Here I'm showing a replay of what I did. Is you see how I was far enough away from that defender to be able to receive the ball in turn. Right there is when I request a pass from Ronaldo. And now all I'm trying to do is trying to turn, and as I make this turn I realize that I've turned in a way where I won't be able to make a successful shot on goal. Right here I realize that. Thanks to my strength, I'm able to keep the ball, and then I just kind of turn around, and here at this point I know he's going to tackle me right away, so I want to get the shot off as soon as possible. Most of the time this won't work, but this time it actually did. He tackled me, but I got the shot off, and luckily, since I'm left-footed, my finesse shot was much better. And so that was actually in a nutshell what you need to do when you start out as a striker. You'll be able to do all the other fun little things where you do 1-2 passes with your players, with your teammates, and through balls and all of those good things, but you need to get your player up first, and for that you really do need to score goals on world class, and that kind of thing is the way to do it. Here again I'm just trying to be an outlet, and the way I turn my player to face the goal, so right now he's facing the goal, the way I turn away from the goal when I'm trying to receive a pass is if you hold down the left trigger. That's generally the jockey button, and if you hold it when you don't have the ball, your player will orient himself towards the person with ball possession. Also, another note about positioning your striker. Generally, as a striker, you don't want to track back too much in midfield, because you'll just tire yourself out. Running back and forth. Your role isn't really to be a box-to-box player. What you do want to do is come, to receive the pass maybe along this, the center circle, and then you can kind of pass it off and then make those dangerous runs that strikers do. This was that was pretty bad shot selection. I should have passed it off. I wasn't close enough to the goal, and I didn't really have the angle necessary for a finesse shot. Finesse shots work best on the D outside the 18-yard box. If you're on the corner of that D, that's where finesse shots work the best. You see here again, I go to the corner of the box and I get more space and more time on the ball, because the central defender is a little bit, towards the inside trying to protect the goal. So you get more time. Um, what else? So here you'll see me tracking back a little bit. Notice I'm not using the sprint button at all. Here I'm just kind of, putting myself in a position to take away, excuse me, take away the CPU player's, passing paths. Now I'm trying to kind of cut away and show you guys where I generally stand, just in that little center circle there. Make myself available for outlet passes, and then once the entire team is up, stabilize. Here I try and do a little bit of a scoop turn, but the defender is on the right side and he managed to muscle it off me. Fair play, and that's how you can expect world-class AI to play. Generally, you won't get enough time, and see me again trying to do a little bit of a Ronaldo chop there, and I oriented the joystick in the wrong direction, and so he did the little back and forth, play with the ball, and I got tackled immediately. And this is actually a pretty good goal. So once your player gets really good, you'll be able to pull off goals like this, where it's just 1-2 passing, a little bit of a ball roll, and then just finesse away from the goalkeeper. Pass it back. This is I held LB, so it's a more accurate pass. And here just a little bit of a ball roll, and then just put it into the net. So that goal happened partly because of the stats on my player, and also because I was in the right place at the right time. And as a striker, you learn, this is true even in real life. Half your job as a striker is to be in the right place at the right time. A lot of the rest is, skill and luck and everything. Here you'll see me dropping off a little bit deeper, to just to be able to have, an outlet for them. But as soon as my team gets the ball and they start passing it around, I go back to my preferred position right on the halfway line. And generally it helps a lot when you're starting out as a virtual pro if you have 2 strikers, so that way you can do a little 1-2, and I probably should have scored there. Probably shouldn't have taken it first time, and probably should have gone near post instead of far post, but hey, you learn. And the other thing that helps is if you pressure the player immediately next to the goalkeeper. That's really what you want to do, so that they don't get easy outs. And here, I don't know, I wasn't really expecting it, but again, as I said, positioning is 50% of the battle. And there it goes off into the stands. Just be in the right place at the right time, and just, trailing behind the defender so he's not marking me, and then just coming in and poaching a nice little header. I think I got a little lucky, but the defender didn't expect me. I wasn't close to him. He didn't have his arm on me. That's the other thing with the new physics system, is if you're right next to a defender, or if a defender is right next to you and they have their arm out, generally that lowers your finishing stat, it seems like. It's much harder to get accurate shots off when there's a defender or two just breathing down your neck. And so again, positioning is very important as a striker, where you want to make sure you have space to maneuver, and you also, stand in the right place, so you have, an angle at the goal. It was a really good shot, and I thought they were going to score, but Joe Hart to the rescue, and a good clearance as well. That was the end of the first half. 3 goals. It's really a good day at the office. You can see here the little turn, scoop, and into the net. The other managers had enough. He's bringing on a substitute. And once you have a 3-goal lead, generally I would just put the team into ultra defensive. And what that does really is makes your fullbacks, your left back and your right back, not do as many or not do any runs really. up front, so they can be in defense. Otherwise, you'll see them bombing up and down the pitch. Obviously, a lot of it depends on work rate. So if you have someone like Marcelo or Ramos, they will just ignore defending altogether. Here, I requested a through ball. I give a through ball to Ronaldo, and that's why I paid $110,000 for him. Look at that, just brilliant. He didn't need to touch it or anything. He just, took it in, slotted it in. And I will say in this game, I actually had Messi on loan from Barcelona earlier, and I wasn't that impressed with him. In FIFA 12, he doesn't really have the size to do well. And here I probably should have gone in and scored in the aftermath, and I was kind of expecting Ronaldo to do most of the work. That was not the best through ball. It was not as good as the previous one. Sorry, where was I? Oh, Messi. Yeah, I had him. He's really good in that the CPU controls him well, and he does a lot of tricks. But he doesn't seem to have the strength. He got pushed off the ball a lot when I was using him, and I had him for an entire season on loan, and I just didn't, I didn't act on the loan. I didn't buy him out because he just wasn't fitting into the squad for me. I was ending up playing players like Adebayor just for the muscle up front, and it was kind of disappointing. I hoped he would be better, and I'm almost glad I got him just on loan, because I tried to buy him for some ridiculous fee. Like, I don't remember what it was. It was in excess of 100,000 USD as a transfer fee, and Barcelona kept saying no. So I just gave them a loan offer with incredibly generous, buyout terms at the end of the loan term. I think it was something insane, like 200 million, USD transfer fee promised at the end of the loan period, and that eventually got them to agree. And I also had to pay Messi a salary, like, I don't remember. It was really high. I think it was more than $300,000 per week. What is? Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, here you'll see me tracking back a little bit more. I shot, and that is why Joe Hart has a spot over Neuer. That was a cracking shot, and some goalkeepers might have let that in, but Joe Hart is, Old Faithful, is so reliable, and he's so good in this game. Even though he's only rated 85 in my manager mode, I feel like he plays at least like a 90, 92, 93. Here you'll see me making the run, and here I was actually trying to do a Ronaldo chop to get past the fullback, and I messed it up badly. The way I usually do it is depress or hold down left trigger, and then kind of slide my fingers over B and then A. And I'm using alternate control, so that's why B is my shoot button. So kind of just depress the shoot button and then press the A button with a directional key, and you'll end up doing a Ronaldo chop. Direction will chop in one direction or the other. Nice little flare pass there by Aguero, I think it was, or no, Ibrahimovic. Here you see I just kind of muscled my way past the defender. I didn't try and go past him, because if I do that I'll get tackled. But you just kind of turn at just the right angle where the defender has to play across your body, and if you have high strength, they won't be able to do it. You'll just shield the ball essentially, and you'll be able to do whatever you want with it. But if you check in your angle, then you won't be able to get as nice of a shot off. And there you just see me taking a long range pop shot at the goal. It's good to have those every once in a while. You shouldn't be too wasteful, but at that point I was being covered by 2 defenders, and my best option was either to pass or take the shot, and I elected to take the shot. As a striker, sometimes you do things like taking shots when really you should pass, because it's your job to score goals and not pass. And here I took a great shot, and that was a good save actually by the goalkeeper. Here, my secret, I guess, or the way I usually take corners, is I try and put them in just right outside the 18-yard box. And generally, somebody from my team will come in and drill it home with a header. And if not, then the goalkeeper usually ends up coming out and collecting it. But it's a lot better than when you throw corners out to the edge of the 18-yard box and nobody takes it, and it ends up in a counter attack, which I don't really like, because in FIFA 12, based on how far my fullbacks go up forward, I end up with 2 center backs dealing with 3 attackers. You can see there, I went back into my own half and I helped my team out, and then I just passed it, and then I made my run. So you'll see whenever you make runs, the opposing center backs will follow you. So that opens up space in between the midfield and the defending lines, which gives your attacking midfielders space to work with. And controlling that space and influencing that space is also a key part of being a striker. Is you want to make sure, that was a wonderful ball roll, you want to make sure that you open up space for your midfielder so they can give you those passes that you like, and that will help you score. So you see how me making a run there, it pulls not just the central defender but his counterpart on the other side, and eventually the defensive line resets. Abramovich decided to have a pop. He wasn't really doing anything right at hacking midfield. Sorry, Ibra. I wanted to be striker for this video. You'll be back though. Here I could have passed, but passed to Aguero on the left, but it was just too risky. So I just made the safe pass to Ronaldo, and that's the end of the game. I do believe Ronaldo got man of the match because while I had 3 goals, he had 1 goal and 3 assists. I think that's fair. Being assisting the goal scorer is sometimes just as important. And that fantastic header was all because of the cross that he gave in, right? Far enough away from the goalkeeper and not far enough from me. And this pass was also pretty good, just in front of the defender, but enough for me. Look at that header. That was a great cross. Great save by Joe Hart. I think this is another goal. Yeah. That was Ronaldo's golden finish. That was a really good finish. I think he deserves man of the match for that finish. This was a similar finish by me, except I took 1 touch. I guess that's the difference between Ronaldo and me. So I need that extra touch to stabilize the ball. There you go, 9.7 and 9.4. Not too shabby. Generally, if you score a lot of goals, your rating goes up a lot as a striker. You don't really need to make as many passes or dribbles, but your goals will definitely get your score up, and especially goals all throughout. If you end with a goal, you'll generally get a much higher score than if if you scored in the first 5 minutes and then you just played like trash the entire game. Your rating will go down. Whereas if you do the opposite, your rating will probably be a little bit higher. And then their team, it wasn't too bad. Their goalkeeper was pretty good, actually. Courtois, I think he is. I don't know what team he plays for, but anyway, he's out on loan right now, I think, somewhere else. But anyway, that was my commentary on how to be a better striker as a virtual pro, and I hope you liked it. And if you want to see more, please leave a comment or a like, and I'll see you guys later.